Hey, fuck.
Hello.
Only your historian was there to see the fight, to actually write it down.
Yeah, in the book, it's gonna be
I
like
can
I wasn't there myself. I can't credit the
I
accuracy
feel
of this story.
What we should do with the sword is if we put a rope loop around each side of the hilt, and then like I hold it over my shoulder and you carry over your shoulder, we can probably drag it back between the two of us.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Fuck
Yeah.
it, let's do it as proof.
Because I mean, that's at worst like just a cool thing they can put up somewhere and be like, yeah, fuck you, giants. Or at best, they might be able to actually use the metal for something.
Yeah.
Ballistable
But-
heads, if we want to actually
Yeah.
have a proper defense on these walls at some point.
Mounted like a pike in the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah,
Okay.
either way, we'll do that.
You drag this thing back up the mountain. Barut is still asleep because you didn't take very long at all. But other parts of the camp, like you see people on the walls, like looking down, and then actually cheering once they realize what that is, because they've all seen the giants at this point. They've seen the giants' weapons. There's cheering at, like they killed a giant, and based on what Papria said, no one's killed one of these giants yet. They've like managed to make them fall back, but you know a single fire giant, as you've seen, is a huge force to be reckoned with. So as you bring that back, you know people on top of the walls cheering and hollering, and clearly increases some morale. The mountain elves go up and with a much more reserved enjoyment, but do kind of bow and clap and offer thanks and praise. And Papria will actually come out of the tent with a kind of plume of smoke coming from it. That Brute's probably in there. That's the healing smoke. It'll fix all the broken ribs up. And she kind of clasps her hand over her mouth and actually has a bit of like a gleeful grin. And she comes up and is like, please tell me that is the sword of the giant who wielded the siege engine down the mountain.
Is
Oh, yeah.
tell the guards to take it the night easy. There should be at least several hours before they have it back up. Virik dismantled the whole thing. We booby-trapped it.
We
It's
pushed it
operating.
down a cliff area thing. They're gonna have to do a lot of repairs.
She smiles even more. And you see that she like takes like a step towards maybe giving one of you a hug and then decides against it. At that
Fair.
point,
Covered in blood.
you're
They're both, like,
covered in blood.
Most of it not my own. A lot of it my own also. Like,
Is at that point, someone actually jumps down the wall of the Mount Birth, and that's a tall wall. But you notice as they fall, they've got these very strange boots on that kind of catch their fall, and they land very delicately. This man is a phoenix blood, dark-skinned, short hair that's cropped very neatly and is slightly graying. This guy is kind of old, but not frail by any means. The clothing, you've never seen it up close, that the Phoenix Blood Warriors wears would be seen as strange if you were not a drow and a Northman. If you were like from the Heartlands, you would find this sort of almost battle dress that this guy's wearing with very it's a bright orange fabric that has finely detailed patternage in it, similar to tartan that the warriors of Slate Cove would wear. It does have portions of metal armor, but mostly it's just flowing fabric that is kind of clearly designed to resemble the wings of a phoenix. And the boots he wears are actually kind of a pale pink, kind of a white and gold. They're clearly quite magical. This guy goes up. He has a shield, and you don't see any other weapons on him, but they're probably there. You just don't really notice them. And he will go up, actually doing like a slow clap as he walks over, and will smile. And considering how he's described these people, that seems a little impressive. And says, "You come here out of your own desires, and you best giants and return to tell the tale. I am Grand Chaplain Pyrell. I am in charge of defending this siege, and you, too, even though you are not from my brotherhood, deserve grand respect.
Oh, thank you.
I'll just give him a nod and be like, it's an honor to meet you. I am Tobias Ostland of the North, and this is Virik. Do you have a last name? And I just look at Virik.
There's a pause, and then no.
This is Virik of the Underdark. He's my brother in battle and on the road and travel.
We should wake Barut.
We should wake up Barut.
Our friend was injured on the way here. He was resting. Give me a second, and I'm going to run into the tent.
Yeah, when you do that, the sword, I imagine, is just kind of like, say we come here because we seek to help.
He actually follows with you, and so does Papria. Kind of side by side, like the two factions on the side of good in this battle. And he nods. I would not have asked people from the north or the Underdark to assist. But you are here anyway. Truly, Phoenix guides you most likely on a twisted path here. And I'm thankful for that. Your friend, they are injured and you are clearly injured. We have halls of holy healing inside our castle. And I would allow you to be the first outsiders within them for millennia.
Whoa. Thank you.
The offer. And I understand I do not know much about your people, but I realize that this is an honor, and I do appreciate that. And in the spirit of our companion who is currently resting, I would like to learn more about your people and who exactly it is we're fighting with.
He gives a nod, and you probably go in and start breaking Barut. It's actually clear that he starts speaking with Papria. Her common is not very good. Something you haven't had to do because you all speak Elvish is these mountain elves don't speak common. Like most of them just like don't. Why would they need to unless they are ones who go down the mountain who usually don't come back up. But she does because she's kind of meant to be one of the clerics who speak for the people. Funnily enough, both cultures where the clerics speak for the people. You can go up and wake Barut as you kind of it's clear they've been in a fight.
Sir, we did a thing. It was a good thing.
You left me with this for a reason.
I'm just going to point to Tobias.
If anything went wrong. This appears that something went wrong. Now, you're here, which means it didn't go wrong enough to get yourselves killed, and you're lucky for that.
Luck has nothing to do with it, Barut.
It has a little to do with it.
He says, completely aware of how lucky he was.
Barut is gonna stand up and put his hand on Tobias and just kind of like quickly do a good old medicine check on Tobias here. I'm assuming I did not lose my last point of exhaustion at this point.
No, you only slept for like 2 hours.
All right. Well, it's still a 17.
This man has horrible burns. The healing potion running through his body healing potions are actually like the main reason like households have them is they're incredibly good at dealing with burns because like your body betrays you with burns, so like the burns aren't affecting him as badly as they nearly should. But he's also been like slashed down the front. He's been knocked out. He's gone through a lot, and the same with Virik. They've been put to the end of their rope and made it through.
Sit with me.
Hey.
Ooh. You say a prayer that helps the healing smoke, and you finally like allow yourself to properly inhale it for you two.
And then I'll actually kind of stand up, and it's been a few minutes now at this point, but are they in the tent with us, the other two?
Papria and Pyrel are not. No, they are standing outside it enough that you can kind of hear the conversation.
I would immediately, like, once he's done with that, tell him they're gonna let us in the city.
Apparently, this is the first time in millennia that this has happened.
Yes.
I don't know the significance of this, but I made sure to express that it was a great honor and we were excited to learn more about their culture.
Burwit pats you on the arm and says, "One of these days, I'll teach you about proper decorum up here, but
I
think
mean,
you're doing pretty well on your own."
Personally, I'm just excited to see what their taverns are like, but they do
I have no idea if they have them, to be perfectly honest.
They have boots that stop their fall. It's so cool.
Of course you noticed that right away.
Virik has had lots of problems with falling. So have you.
Yes. Well, perhaps we should see about buying a couple of pairs.
Indeed.
Burwit's gonna stand up and he's gonna step out of the tent. How much of the conversation did we hear beforehand?
It's, spits and spats. It's really, how many of people are going to be let inside and how long they think they have until the giants try something again and what that might be. So, yeah, it's nothing super important. A lot of the admin of a siege.
Yeah, just warlike shit. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Burwit's gonna step out and place a hand on Papria if he's noticing that her common is a little bit rough.
I mean, he is, but also, these cultures rarely trans talk, so it's like. Except
I'm just gonna cast tongues on her as well, make things a little bit easier. And I'm just
the common he speaks is even like different to what you guys are used to, but you get the gist usually.
Yeah. But I'm just gonna put tongues on her and just say you shouldn't have any problem understanding any language now for a little bit, about for an hour.
You are clearly blessed with curious magic. But it would no doubt do me good. We are going to be allowed into the chambers of the Phoenix.
Best if we understand what's happening.
She kind of looks at you with a wisdom. I believe you know why the giants are here. I believe you are here for the same reason. And I hope that this will all become clear. Are you all
on her?
Wisdom saving throw?
That did not take long.
You cannot read her mind. There's and you're not sure if it's just her willpower or the fact that you're trying to use the holy power, the very same holy power that runs through her blood as well, against her, Pyrel will kind of motion back to the walls and will say, "You and your friends are gravely injured. I suggest that we return inside where the tribe of faith can heal your wounds. Then we will talk strategy. Perhaps it'll be time to take the fight to the giants, if we can find where under the mountain they live."
I think we have an idea of that.
Very well. Come along. And as he kind of you actually notice that the sword where you dropped it, using harpoons, they've actually started lifting it to rest up against the wall by the gate. And it's kind of rests nearly all the way up there and is actually kind of fucking intimidating. And it seems they're securing it in place there as like you said, a warning.
Fuck yeah.
Burwood's gonna sling his armor over his shoulder the battered pieces and just say, "You don't happen to have any very good blacksmiths, do you?"
He nods, kind of wordlessly, and keeps walking. The gates, as they start working, the mechanism is rusty. These gates don't open very often. This is a culture that has no reason to leave their own walls most of the time. As the gates open with creaks and cracks, and not also they're slow because they're stone gates, you are allowed inside. The inside of this town looks much like any other highly religious town. You don't notice a tavern, but you notice meeting places. The artwork on the walls outside is nothing compared to the artwork on the walls inside. Very great care has gone into the maintaining of this. The views that are designed there, it's actually the inside of the walls have artwork that resembles the constellations in the night sky, which you would actually appreciate a lot, Brute. It's actually a very mountain elf thing. There's just a lot of similarities between the culture. There are copper statues that have oxidized, so at once they would have been a copper color that matches all the stone around, but now are a contrasting green. It actually looks more beautiful, but leading you towards the central castle. The town itself is not very big, mostly just other buildings that support the castle and the population. Similar to the Watcher's Isle, when there was danger there, it's an empty town. You figure the population who aren't fighting, which probably is most of the population, are safe in the castle somewhere, secured. Leads you into the castle through hallways that have delicate stonework ground, usually reds and oranges, and patterns that are kind of geometric and thought out, and will head to a vast holy chamber where you see in a chandelier a red octagonal crystal. Kind of radiates a light and warmth. There's other glasswork that makes that light kind of cascade around the room as if it were stained glass. And there's actually stained glass features around this part of the chamber that stream more light in as well. There are priests here who are very surprised at Mountain Elves being here, and drow and a human from outside, but will start, coming to you with bandages and this golden healing water that they encourage you to drink to help mend your wounds. But please, talk and chatter away, if you will.
Get my minor illusion ready just for the story we're gonna have to tell them.
You know what? Actually, hold on. Let me think about this for a second.
I'm gonna let him do the talking. I'll just assist with minor illusions of whatever he's talking about when he's telling us about stuff that's happened. Before
we do anything in Voss, I am going to turn to Papyra, and I am going to say to her, the chandelier is a gate stone. That is what the giants are after. They seek to open the gate to allow the primordials to return. They seek to destroy this world and claim it again for their own.
Again with wisdom, knowing that her tongue can be heard by anyone, she simply nods and semi-nervously fiddles with the feathers of her robes.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly a lot bigger scale.
Then in common, Bruid is going to start speaking again. And say, your hospitality is most gracious. Thank you. This is a beautiful hall. The artwork is incredible. The architecture, staggering. I like it.
It is designed to be liked, not by outsiders, but by the Phoenix. But
Well,
I accept your compliment. Like, clearly trying to not be too insulting, but it's just the nature.
the Phoenix has excellent taste, then.
Nods.
That was perfectly a response to him being slightly insulting to me.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
just a little turn right back, but nothing too bad. You wouldn't happen to know anything about why the giants are sieging your city, would you?
The oldest tales spoke of the giants under the mountain before. It is said that before our time, the giants enslaved some of the people here. The people below the mountains were born into sin before the giants ever got their hands on them. And he kind of, like, clearly trails off into his own train of thought and then shakes his head like, but we thought them tales. We thought them holy stories. The giants attacking was a shock. A shock to our entire system. We have little that we can do against them, in all honesty. Our spears strike weakly. Our magic does not affect them.
What? Well, this is perhaps an indelicate question, so I apologize for that in advance. What would they seek here? Do they seek your people? Or do they seek an artifact of your god? What do they look for? What do they hunt?
We would not know. We have not got inside of our walls, but my assumption is they want slaves for whatever engine it is that their devil god pushes. You hear them chant it. Ignis, Ignis, as they strike the walls.
In Primordial, Burrowit is actually going to whisper the word Ignis. And then in Giant, say it, just to kind of see how it compares in terms of language.
It's clearly a giant. It's like a giant word, you know. It fits giant best.
And so he's kind of just placing it, and he's trying to kind of seem like he's pondering it more than.
You say that, and Papria kind of thinks, and she says, "In the old stories, the giants do not worship a god named Ignis. They worship Magnonir."
That's correct. Ignis. It's not the same.
That is too different for me to assume. It's an aspect of a god, or a many-faced god. Are we dealing with... And she straight up looks at Pyrell. It's like, two conflicting religions.
It could be a primordial that's taken up the role of their god. It could show off its power more personally. Maybe it converted them.
Could be.
Pyrell does nod and says it's clearly some power of flame. Taking a city blessed by flame itself would be an offering insurmountable to a being like that.
Offerings. Now that's an interesting word. What makes this city blessed by flame?
We are the carriers of the blood of the Phoenix. We are the only ones who are clean from the sin of nightmare.
And that is your people, not your city. Your
We
people
built this city.
Your people could move. This is not... This spot, I understand, has significance to you. It has relevance to you. You wish to stay here. I'm not asking you why your people are blessed. I understand that. I am asking you why this spot is blessed. Why this place?
The light of the Phoenix burns stronger here. Our people, when we leave the mountain, we do so with a singular purpose. We hunt the beings of the nightmare realm. We hunt demons, devils, fiends of all kinds. This is a place that they cannot touch. Its fires burn even devils who say they can claim flame. Our purpose on this world is the desolation of such evils, and clearly these giants are the servants of such an evil.
Burwick kind of like scratches the back of his head and just kind of looks around the room again and just says, I don't wish to argue with you. I understand purpose. That is something that our people share. We seek purpose in everything we do. That's, again, not what I'm asking you. What I am asking you, very specifically, is why would you not take your people, leave this place, and save them from the giants? Why must you stay here? Why must you hold this siege? What is so important about this place?
There is thousands of years of history, of blessings, of... I do not expect nomads like yours to understand. You have no place blessed like this. And Papria just straight up scoffs at that.
Burwick pulls out a book very quickly and raises his hand to Papria very quickly and hands the book. And again, in his it has his notation, so this is not going to be something that's useful to him. These are the words of history. These are the words of purpose. These are the words that our people seek. This is the knowledge that I left my home to learn about every culture, to learn about the entire world if I could. I have traveled to cities that are older than this one. I have been through their halls. I have seen their art. I have seen their culture. I have seen their people. Those people are still their people. Their homes and their purpose are taken. They are taken to them. You, here, in this place, have your history. But your history is carried with your people, not with your halls. You have this place here, this place now, and it is magnificent. So, tell me, this place, what in it would the giants want? Do not lecture me about misunderstanding history. That is my entire life's purpose. I have spent hundreds of years. Do not lecture me about history. And Burwick puts the book... Oh, he actually hands it to Papyra there.
Can you give me a persuasion or intimidation roll?
That is persuasion. He's angry, but he's...
I know, yeah, that's what I thought, but it's like you
Yeah.
you could say either way.
Yeah.
But it is an angry persuasion.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's at disadvantage still, so... That's not too bad, actually.
Hyrel turns around. He walks. You actually start to see a pulsing light in his hand as he does so. It's a warm heat of light. And shakes his head. What do you want me to say? Do you want me to tell you about our resources? We have nothing that giants would want. We have nothing in bounty of food. We have nothing in bounty of ore that they cannot find under the mountain. I do not have an answer for you, Barut Beranin. I do not have this for you. He doesn't.
I am attempting to read his thoughts.
He fails, but he straight up does not know anything other than the resource of man.
Okay.
I believe you.
Can you give me an insight roll?
Yes. My disadvantage is painful.
Oh.
You think that chandelier has been there for so long he doesn't even consider it a thing? Like, it's clearly, it's something, but it's not like a holy relic. It's just there and has been there as part of this castle for probably around 4,000 years, And as you look at it, you kind of see resting on one of the metal elements that hold it up a large mithril shape that kind of taps the gemstone and slinks down, and you hear in your head, good. Get him angry. Humans are foolish in their rage. And it's all gone. You're not even really sure if you saw it at all, but you know you did, because you know what this is.
In that moment, I'm going to try something, which is probably not a good idea, but I am sending and I am trying to speak to the familiar dragon that lies within my brain.
What are you going to say?
This is not your place. This is not your time. We will discuss you in the near future. Not now.
You do not need magic to speak with me, boy.
Well,
I'm right here.
Well, that's going to save me a lot of effort. We will discuss you soon.
You almost feel the best way to describe it is someone walking on your grave. Whence this person is there. It's almost like the sensation of scales dragging across your skin, and then it's gone. You clearly tell, like, okay, he's still there, but he's gone. At this point, Papri has kind of flicked through the book and some of the images with actually great interest in her eyes, but then closes it. And she says, what about that? And Pyrel just looks straight up at it, kind of a little flabbergasted. And some of the other people here who are all wearing the similar robes, but not armored, clearly part of the same tribe of faith that he's in, say, that is a blessing of fire crystallized, found on this very mountain as a blessing.
That is no blessing. That is a gate stone. That is one of the four. And
minor illusion, the four, at least the three that we know what they look like, and then like
at this point, you can assume that they're all the same cut. They're all this same octagonal cut. You just don't know what color the other one is, but
I was hoping you might know more information about it, which is why I probed. But if you do not, taking that away from this place is the best way to save your city.
Persuasion roll.
Yep. Man, it's a good thing that the person who's very exhausted is doing all the talking right
I
now.
agree.
I mean, to be honest, we're probably pretty exhausted too now.
Yeah.
You speak keenly of retreat, of... I understand. No! Let me speak in my own halls. You will have your time. We have an advantage. We have people who can fight against these giants and win. Why would we hide or retreat or even allow the siege to continue when you say you know the way into their halls and we have the might now to fight them? If we are not under siege, then we have an army. You, fighting to Papyrus, have trackers, hunters, healers. We have giant killers in our midst. Why would we hide?
Oh, I'm not suggesting you hide, sir. I'm not suggesting that we don't take the fight to the giants. I'm simply suggesting that we also remove this item from the equation and have others take it and remove it while we mount an attack, so that even if they do get past us, they will not get what they are after. They will not find and absolutely blasphemize your blessing by promoting it to another god.
You speak knowledgeable of this. What power is within this stone? What will they be able to achieve with it in their hands?
An end to all life other than the giants and those who are their allies.
I minor illusion the gate and the stones fitting into it.
They will bring the primordials back. The age of primordials and giants will return. This city and every other city will be destroyed. We've already lost one home to it.
He actually straight looks at you at that and kind of reads the subconscious, will look at Tobias, kind of connecting the dots, and will very slowly nod. And
Say
will
to him, you asked earlier why we'd come here. My home has been destroyed for nothing more than a rock that would fit into a gate to facilitate the ends of these primordials or giants or whoever aligns themselves with this mission. That is why I am here, is to ensure not only that the same thing does not happen to you and your people, but to ensure that it happens nowhere else, and that this world can continue to exist in peace, or relative peace at least. That it can exist at all.
all the teachings in every generation would tell me that you would walk into these halls made of sin and corrupt it. But I find no sin in assisting selflessly with such an aim such as your own. We will take the fight to the giants.
We must.
That blessing must also be kept from their hands. Do you have a...
Burwitt pulls out the box.
Yeah.
We come prepared.
I'm just gonna also just turn to Brew it almost as if just like as a separate thing. Just, do you think she'll take another one?
Oh, she might. She didn't really like that I harassed her the last time, but give me a moment.
Papria will say to Pyrel, and also we are part of something now that is so much more than any of us. a simple sacrifice of a relic compared to all of this. It is important. You are making the right choice. And whatever Ignis is, we shall destroy it now. We will make a grand battle plan. Is that not what your people are grand at? He nods a little bit. And we'll kind of like step back. I mean, obviously you're in this big chamber, but there's like a lot of meaning to that motion as he steps back and allows this.
I'm gonna punctuate what she was saying too. I'm gonna look to him and be like, and I assure you that securing this relic is not the only reason why we are here. I seek vengeance for what was done to my people, and I seek the front lines of any battle that will facilitate that. So I will be with you fighting all the way until the end.
Much in the same way that my brother seeks vengeance. I seek vengeance, the preservation of histories, and more importantly than that, to me, the preservation of cultures. Yours is one I feel very blessed to now understand even more. But all cultures, that is what we are seeing here, is a potential end to all of that, to everything. I do not wish to see those end.
I have been lectured by priests all of my life, friend. Please, you shall get the rock. We will find plenty of them under the mountain. He kind of gives a bit of a smile, but turns quite swiftly as he does. And will say, rest outside the walls or inside the walls. We shall make a plan. I will warn you. And he's like walking away. We don't have a ladder that high.
Turn off the lights. I got this.
Turn off the lights?
Turn off the lights?
This is a room being lit up by windows.
The thing that you're trying to
And the thing!
They don't have a dimmer switch?
Okay. No. We just have to wait till it gets dark. And that thing is the thing lighting the room. It's still there's that dim light.
How? You don't know.
No, it won't be dim light.
When I get a cloth over it.
Turn off the lights.
He's got a low wisdom. He's got a low
I do.
wisdom.
I don't
Alright.
wisdom.
Okay. I am making a sending call to the Jade Dragon.
I mean, maybe she can grab it.
Yeah, can you just get up here and grab this for us?
I am going to say we've found another stone. It's in danger of being taken by the giants. Can you take another one?
There is risk. If the enemies you face are so great, betrayer of worlds, they may come for me. I will take it if required.
She makes a good point. It's a bad idea.
What
Putting them
is?
together.
Oh yeah.
It's not a good idea to have 2 infinity stones in one realm.
We saw how that went.
Well, there's another dragon we could leave it with. I could bring it to her if you need me to.
You are not going on your own, Tobias.
Oh no, that's not what I was getting at. I mean, like, if you need me to, whatever.
We also
Barut,
know
you
that would be very pleased to have one of them.
you feel a raking down your back.
I
Your-
said we address you.
Your
soon.
drow serves a master of darkness who will find this a pretty trinket that is curious, know not its meaning for thousands of years. Your souls of Shireen would not dare travel into the Uhagir to take it. Just food for thought, Barut. And you feel it, the presence leave again.
In my head, I'm saying, I'm aware. You know exactly how I feel about him, and you know exactly why I hesitate with that.
You get no reply.
Bitch. Like, bro, it says that out loud and just
yeah.
like,
I mean, we know one dragon that would love to get his hands
we're
on
not
one.
going to give it to a dragon. We're going to give it to someone else.
Well, who else should we give it to? Should we mail it to me mom? She'd take good care of it, I'm sure.
Paprio says, I think you'd find postage quite expensive.
Eric?
Yep.
I need you to make contact.
With who?
Burwood just stares at you, hard and with a sad look.
I can try.
Outside the walls. I'd like to be there with you. We need to get that down first.
Does the chandelier have to stay intact?
Yes.
Then I'm gonna go find someplace to grab a drink. You'd be surprised.
Is there any way to like climb up the wall near it and then across to it?
It's very patterned stonework, so it would be plausible to climb the wall. It's very high up.
I have a follow-up question. What kind of chain work is used to secure the chandelier?
It appears to be straight metal spokes.
Yeah.
But the gem itself is like sitting in the center of the chandelier, probably not incredibly horrible to remove.
Yeah.
But yeah, someone of Viric's skills might be able to climb up.
Okay. You ready to heal me if I fall? Can't take much.
I'll
Stop
catch
climbing.
you. Don't worry.
Make sure that you actually... Did you put that 14 in that I gave you before?
I did.
Good. If you're saying that you're like still hurt, bro, it's just gonna pat you on the shoulder and just give you an extra little bit of cure wounds there.
That's good. Yeah, that almost tops me up, which is good. I can take a fall. I mean, with slow fall, I might have been fine anyway, but you know, just in case.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start climbing up the walls.
Acrobatics. You're lucky that no one of the Phoenix Faith is here.
I'm glad I healed you.
Fuck.
This is the roller coaster episode. This is it.
Viric,
Yeah, ones and 20s.
like I
everywhere.
said, very detailed stonework.
Oh no.
These swirling patterns that go across all the way up to a kind of dome-like top where the chandelier sits. And you climb up very carefully because you're like, hey, it's clearly of importance. You gotta respect.
Yep.
You don't want to... In other towns, you'd be like... just pull it down as you go. You climb up. You get up there on the chandelier, and actually, like, walking on it is very easy for you. Like, walking on these tight ropes and things is quite easy. You get up to the stone.
I hate how far you're letting me go.
As you put your hands right on the metal framework around the thing, there is an earth-shattering explosion that actually creates a vortex of air that sucks you upward as the dome of this chamber is blown apart. You have a hard time seeing exactly what happens in the next few moments as the vortex sucks you out. But what exactly happens, we're gonna have to find out next week.
Fuck. Okay. I don't think I did that. I'm just like.
Okay. How are you guys doing?
I'm glad you healed me because I'm going flying.
I'll catch you.
Remember to tip your waiters. All right.
Holy fuck.
So upset.
You know, actually, don't let me forget. You did get given a healing brew by the Phoenix Bloods. Both of you healed 20 health.
Oh, then I'm full. Good. Okay.
Might be important.
It is important, almost certainly.
I nearly could have gone away. I was like, it's just healing. But no, you did get a good old healing brew. We'll see why that matters next time. But why don't we talk a little bit about each other? Giant Slayer!
Oh, hello.
That's you, yeah.
What's everyone doing? That's me, Josiah, also known as Dungeon Dad. I have a YouTube channel. It's on youtube.com/c/Dungeon Dad.
Oh yeah, don't forget the C. Just to
That's
make
how
things
you-
way awkward, YouTube.
Yeah, right. Or you could just search it like a normal human being. That's fine too. I make videos about monsters. The one, actually, I have it up on my computer right now. The one that's coming up this week, which should be out tomorrow, is called a Humbaba. It's basically a. It's a. Imagine it. It's like a 30-foot giant made out of corpses. And it's an undead, of
There's
course.
a lot of like D&D monsters that are like corpses fashioned in X way.
Right.
Orcus
Yeah.
has got a hard on for that.
Oh, does he ever? Yeah, but the flavor behind it may surprise you. You'll have to watch to the end. There'll be surprises throughout. Don't you worry. Yeah, that's coming
Ticket
out.
pays for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
I mean, yeah, you don't even need the edge. Just stand, honestly. But you gotta get some steps in. That's not how standing works. So that's me.
It
That's
is
my
if you're
pitch.
me and you kind of awkwardly move from one leg to the other, or
See, that's
walk
what I was
around.
thinking, but I was like, that's not how most people stand.
No, that's only how weirdos stand.
Copy that. Anyways, you should come check me out on YouTube, Twitter. That's this whole. That's my pitch.
That's your hole.
Nailed it.
Tesh, what's your hole?
Any looter game. I just fall right in and I'm in there for
That is very true. I've known you for a short time, and yet, with absolute certainty, I agree.
Hi, I'm Tash of the Test Tube. That should give you an idea of what sort of content I do on YouTube and Twitch. You should follow me on Twitter so that you can find out when I'm doing that content on Twitch. And also see lots of cute animal gifs and pictures of Rocket because I'm posting a lot more of those recently.
Cat time.
Yeah.
William.
I'm Will. Find me at twitch.tv/WillNGraham. Links are all there. It's pretty much all you need to know. Books getting written. That's a thing. That's me. Ollie,
Alright.
what about you?
Yeah, why don't we talk about the best person? It's me. I'm the best. If you like this show, it's here every dang week at midnight GMT. If you like Jarviskjir, if you like the way I do things, you also should check out the Wednesday show at 7 p.m. GMT. That is a literal dating sim dealing with a very different set of problems in the mainland of Jarviskjir. This campaign has kind of gone off to never explored territories with the mountain elves and things like that. That campaign is doing a lot more of the sort of the traditional Jarviskjir stuff. But both of them are amazing, and if you don't catch them live, there's a YouTube link down below. It's at Ollie Smith on YouTube because I use it for art stuff as well. This show is supported by Patreon. If you support my Patreon for just $1 a month, you get early access to all the homebrews I'm doing. I'm actually taking a big effort to do more homebrews and upload more. Slashes remind me in chat. I've had the rules for Neblings for like 6 months. I will probably upload those like tomorrow. They are a strength-based goblin kin for giants. There's a lot of things I basically, flesh out where monsters and spells and classes and things that should exist in my kind of fantasy. So you find spells that are like I just added a spell that is crowd control that's very powerful but also damages the spellcaster, and a spell that allows you to sanctify ground and things like that. There's also the Inquisitor class coming soon, and a Lycanthrope class coming soon. If you support for $5 or more on Patreon, you get access to a third Jarviskjir show that is doing things. And that's me. I'm also probably going to be playing Tetris 99 or Katamari Damacy at any time if you check me out on this channel, now live at 8 p.m. GMT, because I'm, watching my health and not staying up too late. But thanks for hanging out. Thank you for so much for the bits and the subs during the stream. I appreciate every one of you, even you. That's right. You know who you are. That's right. All right, that's it. I've got no more. I'm out of juice. See you later.
Until next time.
Same bat time.